Cass, how are you, lovely?
I am wonderful. I've had a beautiful start to the day and now I get to chat to you. So I'm doing well.
Amazing. And it's so good that, we're speaking at 10:30 a.m. So to have an amazing start before this is going to set the vibes for the conversation ahead. What have you actually been up to? What made your morning so wonderful?
This morning I did the lighthouse walk with my partner and a friend. Then we went and had a lovely chai tea at a new cafe that's open. Came home, cooked some brekkie tacos and did a little bit of work and then on here. So can't complain at all.
Just living the life.
Just living the Byron life, right? Now I'm sipping on a hot cacao.
Amazing.
Yeah.
My morning wasn't as glamorous as that, but I kind of did the same things, but not the same. So yeah, it's just you're in Byron. I'm in Melbourne. It's probably not raining there. It's raining here.
Oh, no.
We have to wear masks. You probably don't. So hey, same but different.
Same but different.
Oh man. So we actually had an IGTV a couple of weeks ago, but that when we first met was actually in Byron Bay. We were both both attending an event called Wild Success last year. I think it was June.
Yeah.
Or July last year. And we actually I didn't know anyone there basically. And I'm the Melbourne guy that flew up and I was like, okay, I'll just wing it. Cool. I'll meet people. And we sat down and I sat at the back, not to be cool kids sitting at the back of the bus, but I was like, I don't know these people. And everyone went to the front and I'm like, okay, I'll sit at the back. And then we were sitting next to each other and I was like, hey, I'm Carlo. And you're like, hey, I'm Cass. And then that's kind of where it all started and where it all began, where we connected. Didn't know who you were or any of the other people that were there or your friends. And I was just like, awesome. This is what I love. I love connecting with people. And then look at what's happened from that interaction.
I know.
And now we're on the podcast and I've been able to watch your journey over the past, I would say, 12 to 18 months. And that's why I'm like, I love your energy. I love what you're about. And this was just a natural, why don't we have a conversation and record it? Because you inspire so many people. So what I would love to know and what I'd love to share, well, firstly, what are you most excited about in life right now?
Oh, I was thinking about this morning because I'm just excited about so many things. Summer in Byron, like that. I haven't had one yet, actually living here, just be able to walk down to the beach. Actually, we're getting bikes. So ride down to the beach and just spend time in the sunshine and soaking up all the good vibes that Byron has to offer. So summer, definitely excited for. I'm excited for where my business is going. It just keeps evolving and shifting and it's just fucking exciting. And also my partner is starting his own business, which is also going to be amazing. So I just feel like there's just so many good things happening right now. And yeah, we're just on this great journey since we've moved here and feel like we've really landed, in our place.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a tough question because I'm just excited about everything.
Yeah. You're like, how long have we got? Because I've got an hour to say what I'm excited
about. Yeah, no, I don't think everyone wants to hear everything I'm excited about, but definitely there is a lot. There is a lot I'm grateful for and excited for. And yeah, I just feel like it's just beginning.
Yeah. I love that. And the fact that you have so much to be excited for brings another element to life. Whereas if you had nothing, you'd be like, oh, nothing and low energy. But that's not Cass. Cass is the high vibe. She sees the optimism and the good vibes about everything. And I love that. It's so exciting. It sounds like you guys are a power couple, doing your thing and thriving in Byron Bay, which is so awesome to hear. So I know we've spoken a bit, so I know a bit about you. But for the audience that don't know much about you, can you give us a wrap up of your life from start to where you are now? Obviously, the important things that are noted to mention, and how you got to where you are now, and what you exactly do now, because you do quite a few amazing things. So
yeah, of course. Well, I was born in Newcastle, spent most of my life in Brisbane, for those that have no idea what I'm talking about. I did a stint in Dubai working for Emirates Airlines as a hostess, thinking that was where I wanted to take things, but definitely not. That was a no-go zone in the end, but it was all part of the journey. But basically when I got out of school, I had no idea what I wanted to do, you know, like as most people don't. Absolutely no idea. And I just fell into corporate sales, so into the corporate world, the grind that is, and thought that that was just life. I worked for some amazing companies, including Red Bull, Moet Hennessy. So it was like in luxury, you know, with some luxury brands and traveling and getting wine and dine and all of these things. But I kind of just got to the point where, this is when I'd moved to Sydney, by the way. So I did a stint in Dubai, and then moved to Sydney. And then I just got to this point where I was waking up every morning just so uninspired. You know, like I just felt like my light was off. I just not excited about what I was doing. And I mean, look, selling luxury booze is awesome. It's great to get people pissed, but is it really like helping people? Or like I just felt like there was more to life. So I decided to do my fitness qualifications as a little passion project, because I was always interested in health and fitness, and I was training with this amazing group of ladies called the Buff Girls at the time. And I thought, I'll just do it, a little bit of fun, you know, something that really lights me up and makes me excited. Then that was kind of it. My path was made for me. It's like, this is what I was meant to be doing. They offered me a part-time role, so I was working part-time as a trainer, then full-time in my sales gig. And then they offered me a full-time role and I took it, and I've never looked back. And that was like, I went to about 1/3 of my wage. I lost my car, my phone, my laptop, all the perks that you get in the corporate world. But I just felt like I was helping people, and I was making people feel good and making them smile, and they'd, you know, leave me at the end of the morning of a session and they'd be happy. And so I just knew I was following the right path. So I worked with a couple of businesses in Bondi for about 6 years, I think it was. And in that time I got married and also got divorced. So I was in a relationship that, as always, great in the beginning, but things start to happen, and I hadn't done the work on myself. He wasn't doing the work on himself. So we just ended up butting heads, and it just ended up becoming very, very toxic. So I would say that was the most rock bottom I've ever been in my entire life, when I did make the decision to leave. And it was a hard decision. And at that time I felt like the biggest failure, and there was so much shame and guilt and all of the feels that go with that. But hitting that rock bottom point was just the beginning of the rebuild. And that's when I really started to focus on inner work and work on me, and like, why am I attracting this? And why do I keep bringing this shit into my life? Like, there's got to be a way out. So yeah, I went pretty deep, and this was after a few burnouts where I was training so hard, I was working so hard, and I was partying so hard, because distraction, much easier than having to deal with your shit. So yeah, I hit that kind of burnout, the stress, the overwhelm, the anxiety. That was just like my day-to-day kind of living. So it was awful. It was like the worst time of my life, but it did bring sunshine at the end, because that's when I really, really started to work on myself. I worked with healers and kinesiologists, and did talk therapy, and just started to investigate all these amazing ways that we can work on ourselves. And yeah, that's kind of been my journey over the last 4 or so years. And in that time, since I started meditating, actually, that's where my whole business idea came. So sitting in meditation one day, and these ideas just fucking downloads just came, and I got out and just wrote it all down and took the risk and went out on my own. And that was almost 2 years ago now. So, which was huge. I never thought in my entire life that I would ever do anything on my own. I always had very much like self-doubt, not good enough feels, like that was just my go-to, you know. But yeah, I started my business as the energizer. So I really was just about helping people feel happier, healthier, and more energized. And I was working a lot in the corporate space, so energizing large conferences and events and hosting and emceeing. And now that's kind of evolved into really helping women, like helping women slow down, tune in, connect with themselves, connect back with their soul, and really work with their feminine energy. So trying to get out of this heavy, unhealthy, masculine way of being that society has conditioned us to be. So yeah, now I run programs, and I'm about to launch like a workout online platform, which is all about working with your cycle rather than against it, because that is also so powerful, which I've learned the hard way too. So everything I've learned the really hard way, and now I just want to share that. An easier, quicker path than I had to take. Oh, yeah. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. And in that time of really self-reflection, inner work, self-development, I decided to get my implants removed after having them for 11 years. And that was after 2 boob jobs, not 1. Because again, that was like external happiness that I was trying to get, which didn't quite do what it was supposed to in my head. Yeah, and then my partner and I moved to Byron probably 4 months ago now. So we are now living our manifested life. Feeling really good.
That's incredible. And especially in this time amongst everything that's happening in the world, to be thriving and to be, taking that perspective on life and channeling that energy into something that really lights you up is just incredible. I can see it. I'm sure everyone else can see it or hear it if you're listening to this. But yeah, I love it. There's so many points in here that I want to touch on. And, the fact that you grew up in Newcastle. I lived in Newcastle for months of my life. So
yeah.
Newey, but like I was like the outside part of Newey, like the country sort of, wait, let's see if I can remember, like Western sort of way. What are the towns called? There's some weird town names. But anyway, yes. So Newcastle.
You in that area.
Yeah, I was around there. I was 30 minutes from Newcastle. The cool thing is that, and I feel a lot of people can relate to this, like coming out after school and going like, I don't know what I want to do. Like, it's so common. Like my little brother finished high school last year and he's like, I don't know what I want to do, but there's so much expectation on having to know what you want to do. Like, I know for me, it was like, I don't know, but I'll just play soccer. Like, sure, I'll make a career out of that. But then even when those things come to an end or you pass those things, maybe like the air hostess thing, you try something. And then if it doesn't work out, it's like, oh, now I've got no idea again. But it sounds like, the rock bottom, which is like, we don't want that to happen for people. We don't wish to, have to have a divorce and get married and all that, to have to go through that to find our thing. But it sounds like, before the rock bottom, when you fell into fitness, it sounds like it was just natural things for you that you just were passionate about or enjoyed. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what it was. Like I loved to train. I loved to eat well. I love to feel good after, moving my body. And also like the community side of it as well was so beautiful. So that was like so aligned, rather than going out every night and getting drunk, which was also good at the time, but it's not really long term. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So it was just doing the things that you really enjoyed. And then it was like, well, I love this. Why don't I step more into it? And then the training side of things come into it. And I'm sure that's where it all kind of started for then all of this to come about. You found your love for that, for helping people. And like you said, you found that it was really impactful and that you love doing it. So the rock bottom part I was getting to was, it was really amazing to hear that you hit that point, but then we're also like, okay, like something needs to change here. And you're like, I'm going to go internal. I'm going to work on me. How does someone actually because I haven't experienced that. I haven't been married or divorced or anything like that. But how do you said you focused on going within. What's the actual work you did on yourself? Like, it's all good to be like, I went internal and I figured it out and it's all good. But for someone that's maybe going through that, what is those things that you did focus on? Was it the big things? Was it the little things? Was there tangible things that you did to get yourself out of that rock bottom or move forward from the rock bottom?
Yeah, initially it was the big things kind of I invested in myself. So I worked with a counselor to talk things through, and I worked with healers and people like with breath work, like just to really help with my bad anxiety, the stress I was under, the overwhelm, all the things that I felt like I just couldn't do it myself. And so they were kind of the first things I went to. And then I did my meditation course of Vedic meditation, which was amazing. And that really helped me slow down for the first time. Like that was, I just never used to stop. I was constantly doing and like, you know, what's the next thing? Like it just was, I just couldn't be alone, which is what a lot of people do suffer from. And that's, it's not normal, but it's common, right? It's like you should be able to spend time alone, but it does become very hard because so much shit comes up that you don't want to deal with. So it's easier to just suppress. But meditation for me was huge because it was that step in the like, oh wow, if I slow down, like downloads calm, messages calm, I feel better, I sleep better, I have more energy. And then it was like my body looked better because I was taking the time back, you know, taking that stress off my body by having that rest. So meditation was huge. And then from there, I just kind of created my own techniques. And obviously I still work with loads of different coaches and people, but, you know, journaling was big for me. Like post-divorce, it was like, get all the shit out of here onto paper so it just stops stirring around, you know, like there was lots of letters I was writing, not giving to people, but just like getting it out is like so important rather than just keeping it in your head and going over and over and over. There was lots of burnt pages in my journal. There was lots of saging. There was just lots of trying to clear and break up with what had happened, like my previous self. So yeah.
So what happens? What is that feeling when there is so much in your head you're thinking about, you're holding on to? What is the effects of that on the body and the mind and on your life?
Well, it's just like you never stop thinking. It's that unhealthy monkey mind. Everything is always like, it always go to the worst possible scenario. And of course, when you do that, all you're going to attract is shit, you know, like, because you're shit, you're vibrating at this these low vibrations, feeling, you know, the guilt and the shame and all of that. And then of course, that's all you're going to keep bringing in. You're going to keep attracting that. So it was just like one thing after the other, you know, like get a parking fine, I get this. So it was like, and then I just get into these massive breakdowns, like insane, where it was it's going to make me cry, but it was like those moments where I didn't want to be here. Like I didn't, like it was just, like, life was shit, like so shit. And you'd look at other people like, how come they're so happy? This is so unfair. But I was doing it to myself. It was like I was creating all of this mess because I didn't know how to get myself out. So I was digging myself in further into this hole. So that's where it was like, okay, I've got a choice. I either, you know, we always do, I either work on myself and I sort this out. This is my shit. It's no one else's. I've been projecting it for so many years, but this is my stuff I've got to work on. Or I go down this horrible spiral of who knows where that'll end. So
it's that personal responsibility in that moment too, of like acknowledging that there's two choices and there's multiple choices, but like either stay or change. And it's like, no one can do it for you. You have to do that. And I like, personally, I don't think there's a right and wrong way to start. It's just like, but if you take that responsibility, just do what the next thing and keep following that path. And because like, what's the alternative? Like you said, it's following that spiral and continuing down it, but it's all a choice to be in that.
Yeah. And when you take that first step, whatever it is, however big or small, like the universe will present what is meant for you as well. And I think that's a big thing. Like I kept meeting people, like, you know, I met this woman who ended up being a healer and she'd written a book, and I was like, oh, okay, yep, I'll go see you. So it's just like it just presents more and more the more you kind of dip your toe in and show the universe you're taking action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think for, you know, whether it's what's happening in the world, the energies, or just people are coming to this realization, maybe it's social media that's showing it, or maybe people are just getting those realizations within themselves, is that, you know, we've distracted ourselves, like you were saying, distracted for so long and pushed away, resisted doing this stuff and actually facing that decision and going, well, it's easier to just ignore it. But it's actually, I think that's the is it misconception? No, yeah, I don't know the word. Misunderstanding is like we think that it's easier to avoid it, but it actually isn't. Like that just builds up more stuff, and like you said, you ended up in a place of burnout. And was that like mentally and physically?
Yeah. Mentally, physically, emotionally,
Yeah.
everything. It was like I had nothing left. Didn't want to get out of bed. Didn't want to, you know, yeah, I just didn't know what I was doing in my life. I was so lost. That's what it was. Like you just feel like lost. Like I don't even know who I am.
Yeah. And that's really cool that you were then able to, again, take that personal responsibility, that kind of first thing, and then take a step. Like the next step was the actionable something, whatever it was, something, and then trust that, you know, you just keep taking those steps. Because I think, you know, no one wakes up or has a life plan to go, yeah, I want to be in burnout. I want to sit in that place that doesn't feel good. No, like, but yet we put up with it and we get ourselves there. Like I probably in my own way felt that, like I did definitely physically and emotionally go to that place of burnout. And even with work, like I tried to distract with doing things, with working out. It wasn't so much partying and drinking or drugs or anything like that, but it was other ways where it was like, why? I love how you said, like, when you came to sit with yourself and just get things out and sit, be present, you were able to then go, okay, these are the thoughts, these are the feelings, but then take those steps forward. For me, it was like, I don't want to listen to what I have to say. So I'm just going to keep piling it in my head, pushing it back. The emotions, I'm just going to keep blocking those and avoiding the problem. But it's like pushing a tennis ball underwater. You can keep pushing it down, but the resistance is going to build up. It's going to come back up and hit you in the face. But a tennis ball isn't that bad. Emotions, the physical side, all of that, when you're maybe hospitalized or emotionally, you just feel so drained and disconnected. You don't want that. So it may seem so like hard and difficult to just start, but it's actually the easier part, not the easier, the more fulfilling path than continuing it for the next 10, 20 years, which I don't know about you, but I've seen it with so many people. They just keep staying in that stuff when it is maybe uncomfortable to start, and maybe there is discomfort, and maybe it is challenging, but it brings with it so many benefits, like just slowing down. And the other thing that came up was that external happiness that you were saying, and maybe you got that through your implants. But what I'm curious, because I haven't spoken to many people, and it's really a conversation that I'm like, well, is it open to talk about this stuff? But it's like, why did you get them? Like, I'm curious. What? There was obviously a decision. No one just put them there. It's like, I want to go get these. What was that thought process at the time?
Okay, so I was living in Dubai, working for Emirates, like beside all these beautiful women. I had no self-confidence. I had no self-worth. I would try and get all of my love and attention from outside world, never inside, because it was just like I just didn't love myself at all. In my head, the story I created as to why I got them was because my shoulders were broad and my body looked out of proportion. And I told myself like that for years. Like I didn't do it for anyone else. I did it for myself. It's because my shoulders are broad. I just didn't, my body. And it was just a story. It was really that I hadn't done the work on myself, and I hated myself. Like I thought I was ugly. I thought I was fat. I thought I was all of the things. And I thought boobs would fix it. And in Dubai, it was so easy to get them at that time. Like that would have been 12 and a half years ago. It was like seriously going to the store and buying milk. Like it was very easy. And
Milk.
yeah, true. That was a good one. And then, so I got them and it was all good. And then I came back to Sydney about, I don't know whether it was 6 months after. And I had an air bubble in like the bottom of one, which just made me feel so out of balance. So hello, my body was rejecting them, but I decided to get them redone and go bigger. So I went up a size to like a juicy E cup. So they were huge. But the last few years of having them, I hated them. Like I thought they were so big. I thought that's all that people can see. I was hiding them. But at the beginning, like I loved them. Like I would wear those little tops and, you know, but yeah, it's amazing how you can just have those shifts and like, oh, wait, these aren't me anymore. What am I doing? So that's the story of why I got them.
Yeah. But I look, and like you said, at the start, it fulfilled what you got them for, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
But like underlying it was, well, like I still am trying to validate myself through an external thing. What was that shift internally? When did you like realize, was that the kickstart of the explant of like, well, I don't actually need this. Like I can just be me and love that. What was that step to like starting to actually like and love who you were?
Yeah, it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
But it was probably like, it was only a couple of years ago where it really shifted for me. And I think it was the more I got in tune with my body. So the more I connected with my body, my feminine energy, it wasn't just a thing that transports me. It's like, no, this is, you know, this is me. I just started to appreciate my body so much more and for what it could do, not what it looked like, you know, like the comparison thing next to people just became less and less. It's like, this is my body. I love it. This is how it was created. Everybody is different. And yeah, it just started like, it just dropped in. Like it would just, and every time something would pop up where I'd be comparing myself or, you know, I just was able to flip it. I call it flip it and reverse it. Just like, no, it's like, that's just a story. Like who says that person is, has a better body? Like who decides that? It was just like lots of realizations and downloads about it. And as I said, like tuning in and like working with my cycle and understanding how amazing a female body is, and that having a little belly, like this little belly will like hold a baby one day. Like how fucking amazing is that? And then, you know, we're worried about getting, you know, a flat belly and like having abs. Like what? Where did this come from? Yeah. So I think it's just now an appreciation of what my body does. And it's the same with like training now. Like I don't punish my body like I used to. Like I'm all about nourishing. Like I do workouts that make me feel good, or like I move to make myself feel good, not I'm so fucked I can't move. And, you know, that used to be like, yes, I can't walk for a week. Yes, like I'm so sweaty. Yeah, it's just not how I operate anymore. So
Yeah. And like the way that I can relate, I didn't get implants. But the way I can relate is that for so long I didn't like a lot about myself. That's a big part of my journey was always seeking that external validation and wanting to be liked. And you know, as we do as humans, because we want to belong and you know, no one wants to be disliked to a point. And the things that I would do to seek that external validation or to change myself because I didn't like it. Like I've got very curly hair. I don't know if you can see it, but I had an afro growing up. And for so long, that was
that's so cool.
Yeah, like proper afro though. Like I'll send you a photo later. It was crazy.
Yeah, please.
And for so long, it was like, you know, Carlo with the afro. I was playing soccer and that's all you could see on the field is like this kid with a massive afro. But it was what I was known for. But for so long, I just wanted straight hair that I could spike up and tip and like all the cool kids had at that time, right? So what did I do when I got to Because what I was noticing was that all I ever wanted when I was 16 was a girlfriend. I just wanted a girlfriend. And the kid with the afro at the time didn't like it was like, I'm not going to get an afro with a girlfriend with an afro. Like, who wants to date that guy? Again, my thing. I'm sure a lot of people would. So I cut it and I changed my hair and I started straightening it every day to make it straight, to look like the other people, or look like David Beckham, really, so that people would like me more. And what happened? I got a girlfriend straight away. And I was like, it's because of my
My
hair.
hair.
And I
Yeah.
started placing my identity in my hair. So when my hair wasn't looking good, I'd be like, well, I don't feel good.
Mm.
And for so long, that was a thing. And I changed my hairstyle every 3 to 4 months because I was like, well, I don't like this now. And that means if I don't like myself, it's my hair. I need to change my hair, then people will like me. And yeah, I used to spend half an hour straightening my hair in the morning. Yeah. And it would be, you know, I know how women feel now that do want to, nothing wrong with straightening your hair. Wake up and I'd have to know half an hour before an event or anything, I need to straighten my hair and do my hair. And it was because I didn't go within and really like, and again, nothing wrong with doing your hair. But there was one time when I was in Queensland and my hair straightener broke. And I was like, you know what? No, it was in Bali, sorry. And you know how it's like humid, your hair
Yes.
curls straight away. So I was there and it was like downfall of rain and I was really humid and my hair just curled again. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to leave it. Like really at the end of the day, whatever. And my hair straightener broke. So I was like, I have to. Like I don't have a choice here. I wear a hat every day or I just leave it. And I left it curly and people were like, your hair looks really good. Like that's amazing. And I'm like, I just got out of the shower. Like I didn't do anything. I put a bit of coconut oil and that's it. And people were starting to comment on it. And not that I'm searching for those comments, but people were like, some of my best friends were like, dude, we've never seen your hair like that. But
Wow.
that looks really good. Like, why did you straighten it or grow it long for so long? And I was like, because I didn't like my curls. I didn't like who I was. And I based my worth on my hair and what people thought of me. And, you know, it's been, you know, Byron Bay was kind of at this, you know, 4 months into that. So it's only been a year and a half, but I literally wear my hair curly. Yes, I'm wearing a hat right now for those that are watching on YouTube. But for those that are not watching on YouTube, it's just, I'm just like, this is me. Like, but also it's not my hair that defines me. Like if I was to shave my hair tomorrow, like why am I holding on to something? And you were probably the same with the implants. Like this is me, this is my identity, having this size breast or these abs or whatever. Again, like what the pandemic did, when everything's taken away from you, what do you think about yourself? I know like could have been with hitting that rock bottom. Who are you without the relationship, the marriage? Me, who am I without my business at the time or my soccer career? I placed so much emphasis in that identity of who I was that I didn't appreciate who I actually was. It was the external things that were the extra added things, and you're allowed to have those. But I know now it's like, well, like yourself, when you're like, look at this body that can, you will be able to hold children, not me, but like my body, like my heart, my lungs, you know, the fact that you look at your hand and it's like, there's so many veins and tendons and shit we don't think about that actually allows us to even just open our hand. Like,
exactly.
how awesome is that? Why am I so worried about how many abs I have, what percentage my body fat is? Again, I want to thrive and be healthy. And the byproduct of that is probably going to be, you're going to be lean, you're going to look fit. But I was focusing on the external things for the validation, for the feel good. And when I started going within, it was like, I can have all those things. They're all okay. But as long as I start within first, I can then come from a good place. And
Exactly.
A fill-in place within. So in taking in on the explant journey, have you found, well, one, do you miss them? And then two, how do you feel now about your body?
I get asked this all the time. Do I miss them? Hell no. Like as soon as they came out, I was like, oh my gosh, I love my boobs. Like unbelievable that I'd had them in so long and hadn't realized what was actually underneath. So no, I definitely do not miss them at all. What was the other question?
And then 2, how do you feel about your body now? Like, what's
Oh,
that
yes.
appreciation?
Yeah, like I look at it now and I can't believe what my eyes when I was 25 was looking at, because what I see now, like my shoulders are totally fine with the size of my boobs. Like I'm totally in proportion. Yeah, it's amazing seeing it with a fresh set of eyes that really loves myself now, to back then how much I hated myself, and what I saw in the mirror was so different. Um, and I'll start my morning. My boyfriend loves it. He always eggs me on, but I'll start my morning singing the song, I love my body loves me. And I'll like dance around naked. Like it's such a beautiful way to start the morning, but it's just what it is. I love my body now and it loves me back because I've now got those something that was foreign out of my body, and it's healed so well from that. So yeah, I'm very happy.
Yeah. And I think it's that, it's a key thing that I teach in everything is we start with gratitude for what we have.
Yeah.
Because, if we can't be grateful for what we have, then how can we expect more or be like gratitude brings happiness, not happiness that brings gratitude. So,
Mm.
these external things, we can get all of those and then be grateful. But it's like, it doesn't really work that way. It's like, if we're grateful for what we have now, that will bring that in happiness, that true happiness. So for someone that's maybe it could be a female or a male that's looking in the mirror and they're like, I don't like this body, this hair, this whatever. What would be a first step for them to actually start to fall in love or like and love with themselves?
Journaling on it is really good, like getting to the core of like, what is it? Like, what is the thing and why is it so impactful in your life? And I think using the 5 whys is good for that. Like, why am I talking to myself like this? And then like going to the next question, but why on that why? And just kind of getting to the bottom of it so you can understand, because this could come from maybe something you're unconsciously, you're not sure of, but it might help get to the bottom of it, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is journaling on what is it, what makes you happy in you as well, like looking at the things you're grateful for. And positive affirmations help so much to be able to shift your mindset from a negative to a positive. But it's not an easy journey. It's not like you just start tomorrow morning and you're going to be totally fixed and loving yourself. Like it takes time, just as much time it's taken you to hate your body or hate what you see in the mirror. It's going to take, a lot of time to get back to feeling good. But it starts with, getting down to what it is, like what is the actual thing that is making you so upset, and then just being able to talk to yourself with a little bit more respect, and journaling on that as well. Like that's really important. Like how do you talk to yourself? And would you talk to your best friend like that? Would you talk to your mum like that? Would you talk to your daughter like that?
Would you talk to a child like that?
Yeah, like that's it. Do you want your kids to be talking to themselves like this? Like all of these things, I think when you shine the light on it, then you start to realize, and this is in the first 2 weeks of my Energize Your Life program, this is what the girls like really like, so much shit comes up that they just haven't realized has even been going on, like how they talk to themselves and what excuses they make up and what bullshit stories they're holding on to. But first you've got to shine the light on it. That's really important. Become aware of what you're saying, how often you're saying it, like what do you think that's doing, like that vibrationally. Oh, it's just, it's not nice, but I get it. Like I was there for so many years. But I think that's a start.
And I love that because, and I love that you pointed out that it's not, you say the one affirmation and you feel it all. It's the time you've spent hating, putting so much against yourself and not liking these things about you. It's breaking that habit, but it's going to be reinforcing it over and over and over again. And I think we do look for the shortcuts. I've had a lot of clients that come in and turn to things like drugs, alcohol, changing their body, whether it was plastic surgery, to get that instant thing that I think that's going to help, or I can escape what I think about myself. But it's like, we're always going to be with our body, whether we like it or not, until we our souls move on to something else, whatever you believe in. But
Yeah.
if we can appreciate and love it for what it is, and again, at a cellular level, and then work out from those layers, life just goes to a whole new level. And I've experienced it myself with that, with now, and it is, for me, it started with gratitude, but it's finding those things and then going, well, how am I actually grateful for these things too? Which leads into my next question. What is the worst thing that's ever happened to you? And how is that the best thing that has ever happened to you?
Yeah, I'd have to say my divorce, because that was the worst time of my life. Like,
Yeah.
leaving my husband was the worst, because it's just something I had I'd been conditioned to believe that divorce is bad, and I needed to have a husband and kids and a house and a corporate job. Like, I needed to have all this to be successful. Like, that was in my head, that success. That's what my parents did, that's what my brother and sister have done, that's what I got to do. And then when it didn't happen, when I was like, I can't live like this anymore. Yeah, there was just so much shame around it. And I just was so embarrassed. And I just felt like the biggest failure in life. And I think that's just really what sent me down, like into that dark hole. It's like, no one's going to love me again. Like, look what I've done. And, but from that, I was able to really focus on me. Like, I had the space and time to focus on me. And if I had stayed in that relationship, I would not have done the work on myself. I don't think I was ready to do it on my own. Like, I needed the breakup, the space to move out, to feel being alone for the first time probably in my life, where I really felt alone. Yeah. And then from there, it really helped me grow and learn more about myself and deal with what I had to deal with.
And I love asking that question. I love showing that perspective because, it at the time, obviously, it's the worst thing that we think is happening to us. It's probably challenging, difficult, painful, all the things.
Yeah.
But even if you're, and I want to point this out, that even if you're feeling that right now in your situation, maybe in the relationship, maybe you've lost your job, maybe this or that, is knowing that this is part of the journey and something amazing is going to come from this. That perspective shift is going to allow you to, well, again, it doesn't take away the pain of the situation. Yes, you're going to feel things, but even like in your situation, Cass, it's like, look what it transformed into something. It then created such a massive shift, which ended up, like you answered the question, it's the worst, but it's also been probably one of the best thing that's happened to me. But at the time, I didn't think that. And probably you didn't know that either. You were like, probably like, this is the worst thing. This is, how am I going to bounce back from this? But you did. And
I
I
did.
think,
Yeah.
yeah, but showcasing that. And that's why I've asked,
Yeah.
this is episode number 98. 98 people have said the same thing in terms of this thing I thought was the worst thing ever, but it turned out to be the best thing. And I just want to remind everyone that's watching or listening is that if you think it's the worst time, know that this worst time is going to be the best time for you, or the best thing that ever happened to you. And just hold on to that and take each day as it comes from there. So, Cass, what is the best advice you've ever been given?
Oh, okay. So I love this quote, and you were saying then that, like, yes, there were days when I was like, oh my gosh, this is never going to get better. But I always remembered this quote, which I don't even know who told me, and I still always remember it in times when I'm having shitty days. It's always believe something amazing is going to happen, or always believe that something epic's going to happen. Like, it's just around the corner. Like, you've got to go through this shit to see the light. That's something that's always stuck with me. And then another one when it comes to breakups, a girlfriend, my old flatmate actually in Sydney, used to say, you've got to sort through the shit to find the gold. And it's true in the way of, like, you've got to have those experiences. So when you do find that gold or that, person that lights you up, or, you're aligned, then you're like, wow, here it is, I think that's really nice. The two little things that I always kind of think of.
It was funny because you said the first one, and I was like, it reminds me of this quote that you have to go through the trash to find the treasure. And then you said it kind of in a different way on the second
Yes,
one.
yeah, well, it's very similar. But then, yeah, it's always nice to refer back to those two in times
Yeah.
of darkness.
I love that.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give your 16-year-old self?
Oh, just stop worrying. Like, stop worrying about things that aren't happening. Stop stressing about, it's kind of like, stop making up stories that you don't even know the truth about. Like, that's just what I did constantly. Just make up these stories in my head, and obviously about my boobs. I made up that story and I believed that for years. Look, I'd love to say love yourself, but at 16, like, it's not really what you're thinking. But I think it's just have respect for yourself and have time alone. Like, I wish I'd done more of that. Like, spend time alone and enjoy your own company, because that's where I guess you do find the good shit. When you can sit with yourself and be happy with that.
Yeah, and you actually give yourself time and space to think and to feel and to appreciate, because if we distract with so many other things, like we're human, like we try and avoid suffering and pain, but it's through those times of sitting alone and going, shining the light, like you said before, becoming aware of it. We can actually if we're not digging for treasure, we're just kind of sitting on the sand and just kind of cruising. And it's like, but if you want the treasure, you got to dig. And that's first shining the awareness of, oh, well, am I happy? Am I not? And if I'm not, then okay, let's find this. And the treasure's within, it's not without, as we know. The map always leads back to you.
Oh, I like that.
So do you believe that you're living your purpose, or do you feel that you're living your purpose?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely do. Like, now I feel like it is just to help women feel happier, like connect with themselves and feel happy in their own skin, and really being able to connect with their soul. Yeah, I do. And it's only landed the last few months since I've launched my programs and started working one-on-one again with women. And it's, yeah, I definitely feel like I am.
I love that. And how can other people find, uncover, and live their purpose?
It's discovering what lights you up, like understanding what actually brings you joy, what feeds your soul, what makes you happy. And for everyone, that is so different. Like, I have friends that look at me like, I don't know how you do what you do. Like being on Instagram, being able to talk about stuff and topics, and they're like, whoa, like, no way would I ever do that in my whole life. And of course, like, it's different for everybody. And that's why you should never look at someone else's journey and think, oh, I want that. It's like, do you want that because it looks good on them, or do you want that because it would make you feel good? So it's getting clear on what lights you up, what makes you feel like shit. And that's like, okay, that's your marker. So what can you do to follow that path of more of what lights you up? And then go from there.
Like you said, it's so unique. Like someone saying, I need to, let's put it in a monetary way, I need to earn $1 million a year, and that's, their thing. And it's like, but if you compare yourself to that, when maybe, 100, not even, maybe even 30,000 a year doing something you love, what's the way up? And like you said, what's the thing that actually lights you up? Because sure, we can always do something that's somebody else's vision and purpose and all of that. But unless it lights us up, we're going to live a life that, like you in the morning, you ran to the lighthouse, we'd be running to somebody else's lighthouse, or doing something because we think it's going to make us happy, rather than doing things that actually make us happy and feel like
Yeah. And it's also like getting clear on what your values are, because that's right. Like, some people's value is it's money, it's finance, whereas for me, it's not. It's it's freedom and it's love and it's health and it's connection. So very different to someone working in a bank, like in the corporate world, or
And that's the cool thing. It's like, it's not right or wrong, either one. If that's what lights them
No.
up and aligns with their values, amazing. You're doing your
Great.
thing, and you're doing yours, and because it's your thing. No
Yeah,
right or
exactly.
wrong.
And when things, you are aligned with your values and what lights you up, like that's when things come with ease and flow. It's when you're doing things against that, where it's like, oh, this is so hard, or, this is how I feel. And that's what I found in my experiences.
Yeah, I agree. Same with me as well. So what is the impact you want to have on people, the community, and the world?
I just want to lift the vibration of the world. I think that is that's how I feel. Like, I feel like I want to lift the vibration. And that's, I lived in that lower vibration world for so long, and it sucks. So I want everyone to feel the higher vibrations more often. Obviously we're not all going to be enlightened, but we can feel better every day, and it doesn't have to take much. Just little changes and shifts can make a huge difference. So that's what I feel like. And I feel like, because I came from the corporate world, I've come from that life, I've come from the burnout, I've come from the stress, like I feel like it's very, very relatable. I've gone through it all. So I want to make it as easy as possible as well. It's not like, oh gosh, I have to do this for 6 hours a day to feel good. It's like, no, you don't have to spend heaps of money or heaps of time. It's just a matter of just little things. Little tweaks.
I love that. What are some little shifts that can help lift our vibration?
Well, it is like doing something every day that feeds your soul. This is one thing that I get so baffled with, like with people, that it's like, do you do what you love every day? Like, whether it's so little, like you go jump in the ocean, or you have a bubble bath, or whatever it might be that really makes you feel amazing. Like, do that every day. Do it a couple of times a day. Like, it doesn't have to be a weekend thing to wear your favorite dress and like put lippy on and get dressed up. Like, do it every day. It's just simple. Like, it could be, like I love sitting and having one of my elixirs, like, and I'll sit on the couch, I'll journal, like listen to my favorite music. Like, wow, that makes me feel great. It's so easy to do. It doesn't cost a couple of bucks. Yeah.
And even like that dance in the morning. I love my body, my body loves me.
Exactly. Dancing. Hello. Great way to lift vibes.
Dancing for me has been one of the easiest and fastest way to me to lift my vibration. And I think what it comes back to is, like you said before, and like we were touching on, is that personal responsibility. You are responsible for your vibration. You can change it. And it could be as simple. And then when you change your vibration, what does that do for your energy?
Well, obviously it lifts your energy, and that's what you attract. Like attracts like it's science, baby.
And I think at the same time as people don't want to wake up feeling burnt out and all of that, no one wakes up with the intention and goal, I want to feel low vibration today. I want to feel dull, exhausted, not have energy, and just be, vibrating at a low level. No, we all want that high vibe. It's like, but how can you shift it and not wait for an external, just like the validation, an external shift? It's like, create it within you. You control that, you can shift it. And those are some awesome, simple ways that that people can do that. So what do you think it means to be conscious?
Just being aware of your own behaviors and your own patterns. I think that's like, it's like having a light on you, your spotlight on you. And I walked around for many years, and I think of the unconscious as you're literally just walking into a wall, like constantly, like just banging your head against this wall, because you're just doing the same shit that makes you feel the same way for so long. So that's what I call kind of the unconscious behavior. And then being conscious is like, oh, lights on, aware, oh, that's what I did. Okay, how can I shift that, or how do I want to behave? And so it's just being aware.
I love that so much. This has been such an incredible conversation. What would be your last words that you'd want to leave everyone listening to this? And maybe if it's like the last kind of words you could share with anyone, last time you're going to see them, last time you're going to see me, which I hope not, and it won't be. What would be our last departing words?
I feel like it is that. Oh no, let's go with the quote. I love that. How about always believe that something magical is going to happen?
Yeah,
I think
I love
that's
it.
a nice way to end it.
Yeah. It's so beautiful. It's something that everyone can take and literally start embedding right now.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I want to thank you and say, admire you for the journey, for doing the work, for going through what you've been through and still having, okay, maybe not always that you were like optimistic and believing that amazing things were going to happen, but even in those times you were like, I'm still going to keep going. And that fight and that courage allowed you to experience the things you did and now do the things that you do and help so many people. You are doing such incredible work, and that's why I admire you so much and have so much respect for you. You have taught me so much just in this conversation, but in the other ones we've had as well. And it's such a noticeable effect when someone is in a high vibration doing what they love, or doing what they love, which is then also bringing a high vibration. I feel that. I feel it through the damn screen. It's not like we're even in person. It's like if I can feel that through the screen, it's like something's working here and you're onto something. And it's like that untapped, untapped, unlimited energy and vibration that you're able to create within yourself, and it's going to impact so many other people. So thank you so much for your time, your energy, your wisdom, your honesty, your realness about your journey. It's been incredible for me, and I'm sure for the listeners as well.
Oh, thank you. It's been a lovely chat. I can't believe it's over.
I know. Round 2. Let's go for another hour. It's one of those things.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And it's a pleasure having you and sharing this, and to have you part of the 100 episodes, which, the podcast may end after 100 and switch into another variation. I'm not sure yet.
I just made it.
Well, that's the thing.
It was like
98. Yes. Or 90,
yes.
97, 98. So around there.
Okay.
And it's been a massive journey. And this is the reason why I loved it for so long, is that I get to share these conversations and learn about you. And that's what I love. That's what lights me up, because I get to share conversation and get to hear about your journey, which inspires me. And I think, if you're listening right now and anything has inspired you, has triggered you, you've related with, reach out, or yes, you can screenshot, you can leave a rating, you can leave a review. All those things are amazing, but reach out to Cass, reach out to me, share this with a friend that you think would benefit from this, because one of my key values is self-acceptance. And I think when we can start to accept ourselves, we can then start to like and then love who we are. And I think the theme for this has been a lot of self-acceptance, learning to love who you are, because that's going to be the source of vibration, energy, love, happiness, joy in your life. And I see that exuberating out of you. So it's so amazing to share this. And if anyone does want to contact you, find out about your programs, or ask you any questions, where can they find you?
Instagram is probably the best place. So just at Cassey, SSEY, spelled a little different, .Maynard. Yeah, I kind of have everything on there. So that would be the best place. But yeah, please DM me. I love hearing from everybody. And thank you again. It was a really awesome chat.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. So there you go, everyone. If you love this, definitely reach out. But you can go leave a rating and review. That's also amazing too. Screenshot, put it on your stories, tag me and Cass. That would be amazing. But until next time, take care, everyone. Peace.
Bye.